Welcome to YesCard Pure E-commerce workshop. My name is Dennis and today's subject is setting up YesCard platform from source on your local machine. Essentially what we're going to do is we will go through instructions manual which is available from our documentation website. So if we'll go to links, build from source, this is the instruction set that we are going to be using today. The goal of our today's workshop is to end up with a demo store, much like this one, running on our local machine. Before we start, we need to ensure that some essential software is available on our local machine. We require Java SDK version 1.6 or 1.7, Flex SDK version 4.1 or above, Maven version 3, and with contribution library. For this workshop we are going to be using Tomcat 7. As a database provider we are going to use Derby, which is shipped with our source code, so you don't need to install it separately. We also will need an SVN client. We also need to set up various environment variables that are required to run Tomcat and for Maven builds. For Tomcat we need to set up Java Home, we need to set up Java options because we need to increase memory consumptions for Tomcat. We need to specify Flex Home, which is required by Maven and Task when we're building client application for our admin console. We require home and options to run the task from Maven to build the client. We also require M2 home variable, which will allow us to locate our Maven executable, and Maven options to allow set additional memory required to run tests and install our deployable. Additionally, because we are running Tomcat, we need to supply encoding parameter to cope with UTF-8 requests. Let's do a few quick checks to check that we have all these variables set up and software available. Let's check Java first. Maven. And check Java home variable. Check Java options. Check Flex home. And so on. So everything seems to be fine, and we can proceed to our next step. Check out the project. The source code is available at Google repository, so we're gonna click this link here. There are two options here, HTTPS and HTTP. We need the HTTP version because we are going to access the repository in read-only mode. So I'm gonna just copy this line and paste it here. This is actually the root repository, but we want the actual trunk, so we also need to specify trunk and we want to check it out in the current directory, so I'm going to specify full stop and hit enter. So the checkout process started. Other options is that you can check out one of our tags which contain a stable version of YesCard, but we are going to use trunk because we are quite keen to show off some of the cool features that we've added and our new nice looking skin for YesCard demo store. So the checkout process has completed, and what I want to show you before we proceed is these two files here, ycbat and ycsh. These are actually Windows and Linux versions of scripts that will help during development. So for Linux you need to enable executable flag on the script to be able to run it. So we just do chmod plus X, right? That changes it to executable, and if we just gonna run this as is, you can see that there are several commands available to us. So if we type environment, spelled that, environment commands, we can see some of the variables that we've set up. And there are also some options here for installing necessary third-party libraries, copying resources, setting up databases, packaging demos, and various useful tools. So we don't need this anymore. And we're going to proceed to the next step, which is first time Maven pre-built setup. Because some payment gateways require payment gateway specific libraries which are not available from Maven Central, YC source code comes with these shipped with these libraries, and in order for Maven to use those libraries, we need to install them into local repository. For this purpose, we have a command which is called ithird, install third-party libraries, which we need to run now. So if we do ithird and run it, you will see that there are some jar files that are being installed for Payflow, PayPal, CyberSource, and so on. If for some reason you are unable to use this utility, it is possible just to copy these commands, which are just simple Maven install commands, manually and type them into command line and achieve the same effect. After we have set up third-party libraries, we're pretty much good to go. There are some things need to be mentioned here regarding the flex and build task. We built the client application in 3 languages: English, Russian, and Ukrainian. In order for Flex to successfully build the client's application, essential locale settings have to be in the SDK. Sometimes when you download SDK, it has missing locales in home directory frameworks locale. Now, to solve this, the easiest way is to just copy one of the locales and rename it to the locale that you need. Or alternatively, you can go into the build XML file and basically remove the application targets for the languages that you don't need. So basically, if we go to Manager, Client, there's a build XML file, and if you go through it, there are sections which are for Russian build, Ukrainian build, and English build. Default build target build uses all three of them. If you do have problems and you don't need extra languages, then the simplest way would be to remove the ones you don't need from this dependency list. And this should resolve the problem. Or, as I mentioned before, add the necessary locale property files by simply copying over from another language and renaming the top directory name. Once all preparations are completed, we are now ready to perform our build using Maven. All we need to do is navigate to the top level directory and just run Maven clean install. This will trigger build on all modules. Now, this may take a while. What this command does, it ensures that all previous builds have been cleared out. The code is compiled. All the necessary resources are processed. Test phase is complete, so all the tests are run, and Maven makes sure that before the deployable is ready, it is thoroughly tested, and then it installs the deployable. Essentially what that means, it will produce two war files, yes shop war file and yes manager war file, that we will deploy to Tomcat. While Maven is building, I want to draw your attention to this section here, Maven Profiles. Maven Profiles allow to alter several parameters for the target deployable. So what that means is that, for example, we are using Derby for this workshop, but say we want to use MySQL. Now, in order to do that, we need to supply the WAR file with proper JDBC driver for the MySQL, and we also need to supply a different connection URL for Hibernate. Now, we could modify code, but a far better way is to use Maven profiles, where we can set up special dependencies and set up variables for things like connection to database and passwords and so on. And basically, when we do a Maven install command, we could do additional profiles to alter the default installation process. What that means is that it will look something like this. So Maven install -p and then the profile we want to use. So there are several profiles that are pre-built in POM file. So if we go to root directory, you will see that there is a POM file here. So if we just have a look at what it looks like, in this POM file, there is a section called Profiles. For example, Profiles MySQL. This profile activates MySQL dialect. It specifies login to database as yes. It gives the password. It uses a specific MySQL JDBC driver, and it provides this connection string for the Hibernate. Now, if we look a little bit further down, we also have Derby profile, which has alternative settings for dialect, connection string, password, login, and so on. We also have other profiles that specify different variables used for different purposes throughout the yes card. So if you want to alter a database connection, then this is the place to do it. Or if you want to alter, for example, mail server properties, you are able to do it here. Mail production and so on. The only thing worth mentioning here is that once you specified one profile, the profiles that are activated by default, which are the ones ticked here, will no longer be applied by default. So what that means, if we specify profile MySQL, we also need to put comma, flex and build, comma, unsecure, comma, default, and so on, comma, mail prod, because those profiles will not activate at all, leaving instead of proper variables these variable namespaces in code, and that will cause a crash when Tomcat will try to start the context of war files. So basically, if you do specify custom profile, please make sure that you provide not just one but comma separated list of all the options you need for your specific build. So this is just to make sure that if you are using this, this is the way how you deal with custom profiles. And they all are specified in the main POM XML file at the root directory of the project. When Maven build is complete, you will see something like this, giving you a summary of all the modules that have been built, and a status message that the build was successful. Now, if we look at the source code, we will see that all modules have now target directory, and within that target directory there is a deployable. So for manager server, that would be yes manager war file, and for the storefront it would be in web store target yes shop war file. What we need to do now is copy manager server target yes manager.war to Tomcat's web apps directory. So I'm copying this. This is the admin part, and then we are copying the storefront, which is in web, store, target, yes shop, war, and again to Tomcat web apps. Now we have deployed well, we haven't deployed, we just copied the war files to Tomcat. It's still not up. Before we can start it, we need to set up our database. And for that, if we recall our YC utility, we have several commands. So before we start, we need to initialize the database. What that means is that we're going to run some initial data to populate the database, to create tables, and make sure that we have some data to start working with the yes card. In order to do this, we need to start Derby in the background. Now, to do that, all we need to do is to call ycsh Derby go B, go in background. That will start the Derby server. As you can see, it says it had been started and ready to accept connections on port 1527. Now this starts a blank Derby database. What we want to do is now populate it with tables and initial data. And for that we are doing yc dbi database install Derby. And it's going to initialize the database by running some scripts. And it's complete now. What we can do now is we can use Derby connection to use Derby client and see what actually is in our database. So we're gonna connect to the main database and we're gonna show some tables, and we've got plenty of that. Select, and we've got one shop 10. Okay, now that we have Derby running, we can start Tomcat. So if we just sudo bin startup. So remember, we already copied the war files, so we're just gonna start Tomcat and it will deploy and it will connect to database, which we already started just now. So we're gonna issue start command. Once we have started Tomcat, it is useful to trace the Catalina out file to see what actually is happening. I usually use tail command with -f follow option to see what is actually written to the log. And there's plenty of information coming into this log which will give you a lot of insight into what's happening. You will see errors, you will see tracing, execution steps for various things like full text, audit, access of various methods remotely, and so on. So this is really good to keep this window open to see exactly what's going on. So for example, we have tracing of Spring contacts being start up for our manager application. We can see security methods being added and context being set up. Once Tomcat started, you will see a message saying server started up in such and such milliseconds. This means that the contexts have been deployed and we are ready to actually view our store. So let's just double check. We've copied our web applications, we've started our database, and we've started our Tomcat instance, and now we should have storefront available at this URL. Yes, we do. It's pretty empty, but it's there. And we should have manager application here. Because we have used the trunk version, there's a cheat button enabled, which basically allows you to sneak into the admin using default admin credentials, which is obviously not available in the real release. But nonetheless, here's our management application. We have one store, Shop 10, which we saw in our Derby database. It has theme YC demo. So this store has some URLs associated with it, but there's not that much other information specified. Essentially, this is a blank canvas at this point. However, there are some essential pieces of information which are really important. So if we go to preferences, for example, we see that there are several system attributes configured. One of them is quite important, which is system image vault. This is where YesCart locates all of its images, product images, category images, brand images, shop images, everything. So out of the box it says context, one directory up, image vault. So what that means is that together with the Yes Manager and Yes Shop WAR files, there has to be a directory in web apps called image vault, where YesCart will store all its images. Now we currently, if we go to web apps, do not have such a directory. So what we need to do now is to create one. This will allow YesCart to store all of those images that are coming from importing or which are uploaded through Yum. There are, however, some images that come out of the box. So if we navigate in from the root directory of our YesCart source code, so if we go into web module, store, if we go to source, main, web app, and then default, image vault, you will see there are several directories, brand, category, and product, which have no image stored in them for each one. This is essentially a placeholder for when there is no image to display a no image, which looks nicer than just a red cross with a box in your browser. So what we need to do now is basically copy recursively image vaults. Sorry. So we go up one directory, and then we do a copy recursively of image vaults to Tomcat Web Apps directory. Tomcat 7 Web Apps. So Tomcat Web Apps. Okay. Now if we look here, see, just to verify that everything has been copied. Yes, so we have all of these placeholders in place. Now we are actually ready to we're completely ready to continue with our demo data import to populate our store and make it look nicer so we can play with it. In order to do that, we can come back to our guide, and in the same structure there's a demo module tutorial, and in there, fourth option, import demo data, which goes through steps of importing demo data which is shipped with YesCart. So first step is we will navigate to the imports section, and we are going to import initial data from the import zip file. So if we open development, demo, environment, sample data, demo data, YC, import zip. So if we start importing that file, this one contains shipping methods, delivery locations, and general basic data for your store. Once the import completed, you will see that it will ask to evict cache. Now, yes, we want to evict cache. And you can see a nice summary here saying which files had been processed and how many entries had been modified as a result of this import. Second step is to import the catalog data, which is kindly provided by icecat, open source catalog. So if we open that and we navigate to icecat, import, import English, Ukrainian, and Russian catalog, and click open. And that will start the import of the catalog data, which contains categories, shop category assignments, brand names, products, prices, attributes, basically everything around the catalog information and data display, including prices and stock as well. This takes some time, and this import wizard actually is updating every 15 seconds. So you have this nice update window which keeps you in the loop, so to speak, of exactly what's going on with the import process. If we come back to the command line, and if we will tail our log file, we will actually see data being processed by import job. So at the moment there's lots of auditing information coming through, because obviously there's plenty of new entries are added to database. The catalog import is completed. We're gonna evict cache. We're not gonna warm up servers yet. So as you can see, there's plenty of data gone in, and if we go to product information management and click search, okay, let's do advanced search by type. Let's say mice search. So we have now some data. We also have categories, we have brands. In the system section we have product types with associated attributes. We have different attributes for shop, category, products, brand names, customer information, and so on. So there's plenty of information that loaded up. Next step is to import images for our catalog data. So if we go back to import and we select YC demo product images icecat, and we open, and we have an import English, Ukrainian, Russian images. So we open this, and the image import process will start. The images will be imported to Image Vault, that directory that we created a little while ago, and the products and the image files will be associated with the actual SKUs and products, and they will be loaded to our Image Vault. Once this process is completed, we want to evict cache. We don't want to warm up servers just yet. We are able to see that all images have been added to repository. One thing worth mentioning here: if for some reason when you are uploading images zip file to be imported and it fails, then probably you have not set up, your Tomcat is not set up to handle large upload files. So if we go back to from source catalog, or rather Tomcat page, there is an upload file size section which describes how to modify connectors in order to allow larger upload files to be uploaded. Okay, so now that we have images, what we need to do is to reindex the full text index. So we're not going to select any stores, we're just going to do a full reindex for the whole system. And again, this is an asynchronous job that does updates every 15 seconds. So we will see status updates coming up. So from our node 0, we have 159 products that were indexed, and it's still going in progress. Okay, so the product indexing completed. Now we're indexing SKUs. Unless you have done reindexing, you will not see any products in store because everything on the storefront side relies on the full text search fully operational. So reindexing had been successful and we want to evict cache. The last touch is if we go to cache monitoring, there is a warm up servers button. What that does is that it preloads essential information into cache so that the first access to certain parts of your website is smoother. So basically you already have all the heavyweight data preloaded into cache and you're just serving pages at phenomenal speed. So we're gonna warm up servers. Okay, and we can see that we've got some entries around promotions, product attributes, locations, state and countries, and various other information preloaded. Now we can navigate to our store and refresh the page. And voila, we see our featured products, we are seeing our new arrivals. We have not viewed anything. Okay, let's view something. Okay, so we've got our products. Let's view something else. This keyboard looks nice. Okay, now we have update. Now we see all recently viewed items in our viewed tab. Okay, let's do something interesting. How about if we go into laptops and have a look what's going on there. So here we see a lot more interesting features. Price navigation, attribute navigation, then what else do we have here? Brand navigation here. Okay, how about if we want all HP laptops? Okay, that looks good. Which are 13 and 3 inches, just one. Oh, that's not very interesting. How about 17.3? Okay, we've got some nice ones here. Okay, let's test some searching capabilities using keywords. Okay, we want to 16 GB somewhere in there. Okay, so probably not a very good keyword to use. What if we go back to laptops and search for this keyword here? Okay, so yeah, so that finds this particular notebook that has this specific keyword in description. How about if we search for black? Okay, we have some there's a lot of black products here. Okay, how about if we try Intel Core i5 on top of being black? Okay, again a lot of how about if we want carbon? Okay, so that leaves us only 2. So the compound searching works, attribute navigation works, our our product pages work. How about if we try some multi-SKUs from demo? So multi-SKUs are products which have several variations. So this one, for example, has white, black, and another black. So we have, okay, different pictures here. Another black. How about whites? White. What if we try to add it to carts? Yeah, that works. Some details here. How about if we have a look at some pre-order items? Okay, so there are some for pre-order. Yeah, let's pre-order this one. Okay, so that seems to be all functioning well. Okay, it looks like this this is set up only to use to add one quantity at a time. So if we go back to shop application, Yama manager, and if we go to stores, attributes, and if we will enable quantity picker, and then if we go into cache monitoring, we clear all cache, we'll warm up servers again. Okay, and if we refresh this page, now we have a nice quantity picker that tells us that we don't have anything in cart. We can add several items, so we'll add those. Excellent. And what do we have in cart now? And we've got 5 items here. We can add more of these ones. So that all looks good. Check out. Tennis. Dennis Havlov. Let's go through registration process to complete our first checkout. For the time being, we're gonna just put a dummy phone. Okay, so we are registering. We want to create shipping address. So Cool Street in Australia. Sounds nice. City Sydney, and postcodes. Unfortunately, I don't know the correct postcode, so sorry for incorrect data. So let's go to shipping, and we want to use post. We have 5 to 12 day delivery. Oh, and we are eligible for a free shipping discount. That's nice. So we go to payments. Yeah, I want my items as soon as possible, so yes, I want a multiple delivery. Okay, so I'll get these 2 straight away, and this one is on pre-order, so I'll get it later. I can wait. And if I want to pay courier, so when they will deliver, I will give the money straight to them and pay. Success. And now our order is in wait confirmation state. And this concludes our workshop. I hope you enjoyed it. If there are some questions or discrepancies, or you have any difficulties at any point during this tutorial, please do send me a message, and I will try to make it as pleasant as possible. Thank you very much, and I hope to speak to you soon.